I'm ready. Earlier this year, I attended a conference about the importance of play. During one of the breakout sessions, I heard from a family who participated in a Park a Day challenge. This family challenged themselves to visit a new park every day of the summer, 50 parks in 50 days. Their experience inspired me to do something similar. However, most people who know me would not consider me to be an outdoorsy person. In fact, I prefer the temperature-controlled, bug-free indoors. Look at me in this picture there. I don't look very comfortable. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking about the snake we had just seen, and I'm wishing I could get back to my car without hiking up the hill we had just hiked down. So I'm guilty of not getting my kids out to nature as much as I should, and as much as I know they would like. The idea of 50 parks in 50 days, though, was a little overwhelming to me. Plus, I have this pesky thing called a job that really prohibits me from doing a challenge like that. Instead, I vowed to my kids and to myself that at least one day during the week and at least one day during the weekend, we would visit a nature trail or park to get outside and have unstructured free playtime. To some of you, John Lane, that might not seem like much, but for us, it was a good place to start. The invitation to participate in Talk20 gave me the perfect opportunity to document our park challenge through photographs and to share our experience with you. At the very least, it gave me an opportunity to take lots of pictures of my cute kids and share them with a room full of strangers, something that every good mother would love to do. Consider these statistics. The population of overweight kids between ages 2 to 5 increased almost 36% from 1989 to 1999. The average child spends 44 hours a week using some form of electronic media. And the average child is 6 times more likely to be playing a video game after school than riding a bike. In 2006, the American Academy of Pediatrics published a study on the importance of play. The report states that free and unstructured play is healthy, and in fact it's essential for helping children reach the important emotional, social, and cognitive milestones, as well as helping them manage stress and become resilient. What exactly is free play? Well, according to Wikipedia, free play is unstructured, freely chosen by the child, personally directed and motivated, active, engaging, and exploratory. In other words, kids make the rules during free play. Now, don't get me wrong, my kids are really active. They swim and they play soccer, they're involved in gymnastics and ballet. But all of those activities are structured, and they're led by an instructor or a coach. There's very little opportunity for free play in the sports-related activities that most of our kids are involved in. Play is one of the best ways that kids can get their physical activity that's necessary for strong and healthy bodies. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends that children get at least 1 hour of physical activity every day. Only 1/3 of kids reach this daily goal. But play is about more than just physical health. Play is how children learn about the world, and it prepares them to take their place in it. David Sobel, an educator who has written extensively on this issue, has said, if we allow children to shape their own small worlds in childhood, then they will grow up knowing and feeling that they can participate in shaping the big world of tomorrow. Play helps kids experience risk and consequences. They push their physical and social limits, and they learn what happens when they push too far. As parents, though, this can be tough to sit back and watch, but it's important for us to let our kids have that time to test their own limits. One day I watched my daughter go through what seemed like an extraordinarily long process of introducing herself to 2 other girls her age. She watched them quietly for a while, looking back at me, working her way over to them, building her confidence, and finally asking if she could play with them too. The playground is a rich setting for children to learn the basic but vital social skills necessary for adulthood. Play is important to cognitive learning as well. During our visits to trails, we use maps and signs along the trails to determine if we were headed in the right direction. Outdoor play can be a great way to learn the concepts of location, direction, and distance. One clear result of our park challenge has been a growing interest in and love for nature. Being in the natural play setting allows us to explore the world around us. We have spent a considerable amount of time talking about all things wild, and watching the movement and interaction of even the smallest creatures like ants and bees. We came upon this turtle one afternoon and watched it move from dry land into the water, which spurred a conversation about animals that can live in both places. It was a great impromptu science lesson for my kids. When we found a baby turtle in our backyard last week, my kids immediately thought of this turtle and wondered if they were related. On the same day, I was also able to reinforce a recent lesson my daughter had received at school about recycling and taking care of the earth. We saw trash in the water at the Cottonwood Trail, and we talked about how damaging litter is to the natural environment and the amazing creatures that live there. And we talked about how easy it is to recycle. We began our park challenge in April. My goal was to get out and experience nature, our own little walk on the wild side. But more importantly, I wanted us to spend time together without the usual distractions of electronic media and the modern world. While I knew my kids were going to love it, I wasn't really convinced I would enjoy it. But we've had a great time. We've gotten dirty, wet, sweaty, scratched, bruised, and bug bitten, and I've survived it all. In fact, it was as beneficial for me as it was for them. Being able to leave behind the stress of the real world to experience the sights, sounds, and smells of nature helps calm and refresh my mind. Our park challenge will continue, and I encourage you all to get a little closer to nature. You might just enjoy it. Tonight I'll end with a quote from Walt Whitman. A child said, "What is the grass?" fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he.